Gordon Freeman has conquered gravity, jumped between dimensions, and toppled tyrants. But time slips through his fingers. Like we wait for Half-Life 3, Gordon waits to be released from indefinite stasis. Let's explore the concept of time in the Half-Life series, and take a look at the implications it has for Gordon's past, present, and future. Now, this isn't one of those video essays where I'm going to explain the concept of time to you as some kind of introduction to the topic. Dr. Freeman, being a physicist, understands the concept of time quite well, and honestly, you should too. Gordon's first abnormal experience with time begins as Half-Life 1 ends. In the final seconds of the game, Gordon is offered a job by the G-Man. It's technically not really an offer, because if he refuses, Gordon is put to death at the hands of a horde of alien grunts. Of course, at this point, not even the developers of the game know what this job entails. The end of the original Half-Life is truly a step into the unknown. At this moment, he is frozen as time passes until the next installment in the series. He is essentially forced to travel through time, leaping into an uncertain future. There, of course, was always the chance that Half-Life 2 would never come, leaving Dr. Freeman in an infinite stasis. But of course, we only needed to wait 6 years for the game to be released. Sadly for Gordon, this equated to a 20-year wait in the universe of the game. Now, of course, no one, least of all me, wants to imply that he's been sleeping on the job. But it's undeniable that he was absent in the time between Half-Life 1 and 2, at a time when the world probably could have used his help the most. The ending of Half-Life has a sense of victory, with G-Man proclaiming that the government has taken control of Zen. But 20 years on, it seems like in Gordon's absence, everything has gone to shit. Despite the seeming conquest of Zen during the previous game, humanity has lost not only those gains, but the Earth itself. Of course, it would appear from Gordon's perspective, no time has passed between stepping into the portal in Half-Life 1 and waking up on the train in Half-Life 2. Characters comment on how he hasn't changed at all, though they are a little less surprised by this than one might expect. It's interesting how the Half-Life games present an almost unbroken view into Gordon Freeman's conscious life from the start of the first game. The lack of true cutscenes in the games really makes you feel the passing of time within the game, and I especially enjoy how each level progresses time, moving from morning to afternoon to sunset and into night and then to the next day. It really helps sell the story as a continuous narrative. Although it does make it seem like Gordon Freeman is a complete insomniac, who also doesn't need to eat or use the restroom. Although I guess he might have slept for 20 whole years, so maybe he doesn't need to sleep anymore. Perhaps Half-Life 3 will add some casseroles for Gordon to eat and a button for pissing. Only then would it be a perfect game. We don't know a lot about Gordon Freeman's past, other than his MIT education. It seems like he did not have a family before the resonance cascade, although his silent demeanor means we don't know the true loss of his 20-year absence. I'm sure he had a life outside of work that he misses dearly while wandering the wastes in Half-Life 2. I wonder if he feels guilt for being part of the root cause of all the bad things happening in Half-Life 2. Mechanically, he's more of an empty vessel for the player to insert themselves into. So in a way, he carries all our loss and guilt that we would bring to the situation. However, the characters in the game don't really seem all that angry at him. Though perhaps that's because a lot of them were also involved in the events at Black Mesa. It's kind of funny that in the original Half-Life, it seems that so much of the science team is killed. But in Half-Life 2, you can't toss a bug bait ball without hitting someone who used to work at Black Mesa. It seems like the G-Man might be able to travel both backward and forward in time, as in Half-Life Alyx he's able to show events from the future to Alex Vance. Gordon Freeman, having made his own deals with the G-Man, is at his mercy when it comes to his passage through time. It seems that at any moment the G-Man could whisk him into the future, or even the past if he so desired. Due to this, Gordon Freeman appears not to have free will. His course cannot alter from the course that the G-Man has decided for him. It's funny that the man hailed in the game as the leader of the Resistance, a literal free man, is completely unable to control his own destiny. In a way, this mirrors the game as a whole, where as the player you might feel in control, but the game itself is actually a carefully crafted illusion to make you feel in control while following a completely linear path through a created world. G-Man is really an insertion of the developers into the game, setting up the missions, choosing where and when you end up, and pausing everything until the next game. Speaking of the next game, here's something I would like to suggest for Half-Life 3. I know everyone is expecting Half-Life 3 to pick up where Episode 2 left off, and join Gordon and a grief-stricken Alex on a quest for the Borealis. But hear me out, what if Gordon went missing for 20 years again? The game could pick up 2 decades later, where characters Gordon once knew have moved on and are slightly resentful of his absence. Imagine Alex bitter that Gordon disappeared after her father's death and left her to grieve alone. Personally, I think it would make for a compelling twist and help differentiate the game from the episodes. It would be just like that Adam Sandler movie, Click, where Adam Sandler keeps flashing forward through time only to become disconnected and separated from anyone and anything he cares about. Time is precious, and I think it would be fascinating if the Half-Life series really took a deep look into how missing large chunks of it affects its main character. I'm sure a lot of people would be mad if they did this though. Still, there is an element of cosmic horror to how the G-Man controls Gordon's temporal journey, and that would make for something undeniably unique. It might be controversial to say this, but perhaps G-Man should be the antagonist of the final Half-Life game. However, I'm sure they're saving that twist for Half-Life 4, which will probably come out long after I am dead and gone. Maybe that's a little bleak, but Half-Life has always been a little bleak. Like all of us, I hope Gordon Freeman will return from his current stasis and have more adventures before being shoved back into temporal jail once again. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe while you have the chance. Also, if you really enjoy these videos, please consider joining the channel as a member. It will help ensure that these videos keep happening on a regular basis.